the spot, bringing stats like a kingpin. MMA knowledge meets his nephews all lean in. Breaking down fights, calling stat daddy supreme. On just a tip show, he's cooking up a dream. Uncle Wheezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Wanna know the numbers? Weezy got them cataloged. From the fighters reach down to how many times they dog. Just a tip living, breaking it down slick. Hit you with the knowledge, won't miss a single trick. Uncle Weezy, he the man. Dropping fight facts, got it all on hand. He the stat attack grand. MMA guru, more than just a fan. Balls deep predictions, he be making those calls. Getting in the details, opponents feeling small. From jazz and takedowns, got the whole fight ID. Uncle Weezy spitting truth, no lie, keep it G. Blow the horn, blow the horn. Stat daddy Weezy not showing no scorn. Fight night kingdom, he wearing the crown. Break it down for the peeps, never looking like a clown.
Oh, yes. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday or Saturday afternoon here. I never do shows usually on the day of unless I'm with DFS by the numbers doing his live watch along, which we will be doing tonight for this phenomenal UFC 326 card. But here we are on a Saturday right before the fights, about 3 hours before the fights start. And we're going to be talking about a greasy four-leg parlay for this week. I'm going to be answering any questions that you have in the chat. This is Ask Wheezy. And normally I would do a quick full card breakdown today, but if you check my channel, I already did that earlier this week. On my Odds Shopper probability stats and content package, I offer a ton of content and stats and information to people that purchase that product. If you bet on the UFC, it's one of the best products that you're going to find out there in terms of giving you access to actionable information that you can use to find edges on the betting markets. And I did balls deep breakdowns for free on Wednesday night. I did probability for free on Thursday afternoon. And I was going to do the greasy four-legger last night, but I just had too much going on. I'm working on my stats project for next week's card. And it's going to be headlined by Kevin Vallejos and Josh Emmett. So I'm going to be getting that stat product out to my Odd Shopper members later on today before the fight starts. So I wanted to get this done today. Remind you guys that all my content was free this week. So if you haven't checked it out yet, if you haven't seen it, you can go and find prop betting content on my show Probability. Timestamps on that video. You can find full card breakdowns and access to all my fight write-ups on Balls Deep Breakdowns. That show was done on Wednesday night. We went over 2 hours and looked into all the fights on this card. So and there's timestamps on that video too, but it's not actually showing on the screen. You have to go into the description of the video. I'm not sure why the timestamps weren't showing up on that one, but they are there. Anyway, if you haven't seen that content yet, go check it out. If there's a fight that you're on the fence about betting, go and look at the content from Balls Deep Breakdowns. Watch my fight breakdown. Go to Probability. Watch the analysis of the betting markets there, and you'll get an idea of whether you want to bet that fight or not. If you want to support my work, if you want to become part of the team where we break down these fights in detail every week, where we provide betting models to determine value on these bets, where we do probability every week, where we go through those betting models and the stylistic reads to find the plus EV bets of the week. There is this link in the description of this video to 50% off your first month's membership of the probability stats and content package, $12.50 for your first month. It's going to give you access to everything that I gave out for free on YouTube this week, but that's for every card for the rest of the year. So check it out. It's a great product. It's going to give you a ton of information that you didn't even know was available. And you're going to be in our Discord with a great group of people, and we come up with some great stuff together. So check it out. Become a part of the team. Best way to support the work. If you can't do that, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment down below. That all helps as well. But if you really do want to support the work and you enjoy the content that you get for free here every week on YouTube, click the link in the description of the video and become a part of the team there. But let's get right into it, you guys. Let's see who's hanging out live in the chat with us right now. And I want to remind everybody, if you have any questions about this card, if you have any questions about how the betting models work, if you have any questions about a particular prop or a particular read on any of these fights, shoot them into the chat right now, because all I'm doing today is giving you guys a greasy 4-leg parlay, and then I'm going to go right into the chat and answer any questions that you have. So let me know what you got for me, and I'll let you know what I got for you. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Let's get into this greasy 4-leg parlay. I'm doing it on Bet Online Sportsbook this week because I'm only doing money lines and over-unders. And when it comes to money line bets and over-under bets, Bet Online probably is the best place to go of all the books out there right now, because they're going to have the least amount of vig in there in terms of regular sports books, unless you're going to a place where you're matching up your order with somebody else. So betonline.com, we're going to do a 4-leg parlay and this one is not going to have nearly as much meat on the bone as last week. Last week, I swung for the fences with like a plus 1,400. Macy Chase on, didn't come through. And then I had the over 2.5 rounds for Reyes Andrade, and that fight probably almost finished like 3 or 4 times in the first round, and did finish with 1 second left in the first round. So that one didn't go our way, but I've got a lot more conservative of a parlay. I threw a half unit untracked on it. So let's get right into that. After we talk to my people here in the chat, my guy Olajuwon Dream saying, "Oi, yes, what is up, Olajuwon?" We got the Milkman saying, "Bummed I missed the last 2 live, but no way I'm missing this one. Let's go, Unc. How do I get the great deal you've been talking about on Odd Shopper? It's been too long. I need to give Wheezy money." Link in the description of the video, my man. You click on that link, and it's going to bring you to a page. Here, let me just illustrate it for you here. I will go where? Yeah, that's what I got to do. And I'm just going to show you guys real quick where you can find that information. So that copy. All right. If you click on the link in the description of the video, Milkman, it's going to bring you to this page, and it's going to say Uncle Wheezy, 244 followers, probability stats and content package, $12.50 for your first month, which is 50% off. You just click that subscribe button right there, and it's going to bring you over to Odds. Well, you got to go to Odd Shopper first, but then it's going to bring you to my Discord. You can, as long as you have a Discord set up on your computer, you can join the Discord community. Then you're going to get access to everything that I do in the Discord, or you can just access it on oddshopper.com when you sign up. But if you want to support the work, Milkman, I know that you've been supporting the show for a very long time. Click that link, my man, and that's the way to get it for 50% off for your first month. And it'd be great to have you as part of the team, man. And Milkman is saying that he's thinking of parlaying the Brundage Johnson under and the RoboCop Bruno over 1.5. What are your thoughts? So I like both of those. One of the legs of the greasy 4-legger is going to be the Brundage Johnson under. It's just one of, stylistically, the most obvious violent spots that's on the card, in my opinion. Now, could it go over? Of course. It's a fight. We don't exactly know what these guys' strategy are, how they see their opponent, what they see in their opponent that's going to make them fight in a certain way or not. We don't know how that's going to work out, but I see somebody getting served there violently. And then because the Ferreira-Rodriguez fight finished in the first round last time, if you were to go to my betting models, which are available for free, once again, you guys, in the description of the video, you can click on the stats package and look at any of these betting models. I'll share my screen with you right now. For the Brundage fight, and I'm sorry, for the Rodriguez fight, you can look at that over 1.5 rounds at minus 103 and look at the implied probability of the line, which is around 51%. About 61% of middleweight fights go over 1.5 rounds. So, you're getting about a 10% discount between the long-term trend of the division and the price that you're paying for the line. And then you can see that 9 of 19, or 47.37% of their combined fights have went over 1.5 rounds. That's a fair price. So like, this is a bet that, in my opinion, is priced where it should be according to the available analytics, right? Now you just got to decide, what's your stylistic read. Is it more likely that this one goes over this time? I tend to think stylistically it is. Like, just because it finished in the first round last time, it doesn't mean it's not going to go to decision this time. So my model likes a little bit of value here on the fight to end in round 1. And it also likes a little bit of value on actually the fight to go to decision. So what my model is saying here is that if you're going to bet violence, bet it early. Bet it in the first round or under 1.5 rounds. If you're going to bet the overs, don't go the over 1.5, because most of the finish equity for both fighters is in the first half of the fight. So bet the fight goes, or the over 2.5 rounds, to get a fatter line that's got more value. My guy Exclusive Oro's in the room saying, not complaining, but what is this timing? Thanks for letting us cheat on you, Wheezy. God bless. I appreciate you, my man. Yeah, I normally would do this on Thursday night, but because I had already given out all my free content that I did for my Odd Shopper people, there was no reason to go live for just the tip and the Greasy 4-legger last night. So, the night before, actually. So, yeah, that's what we're doing today, man. Pure Sparks is in the room saying, Uncle Weezy is the uncle I always wanted. Dude, I'm everybody's uncle. I mean, I am your uncle. Pure Sparks, that's the nephew I always wanted. Good to see you hanging out in here, my man. My guy, the Carrillo, all the way from Texas, saying, appreciate you. Thinking of getting your monthly action to support your MMA labor of love with hopes of stacking cashed tickets like flapjacks. Cheers to winning money tonight. Well, F. Carrillo, if you want to do that, like I said, just click the link in the description of the video. Get 50% off your first month's membership, and it would be awesome to have you as part of the team, my man. We got Catalin Lescanu. That sounds like a Romanian name. Lescan. Yeah, that sounds Romanian, dude. And he is saying, oi, let's go, Unk. Good to see you hanging out in here, my man. Let me know if you got any questions for me. This card should have a lot of finishes. I'm actually picking a lot of decisions, but I'm not playing a ton of over-under props on this card. So I could see a lot of these fights kind of going either way. We got my guy, the Bookie Man Bets, is in the room. Great picture of a smiling Fedor there, saying Parlay Buster of the week is Luke Fernandez. That is the first fight of the night. Luke's sitting around minus 220 right now. I'm picking him to win, but I'm picking him to win by decision. So that's going to be an interesting fight. But I've only got a very, very, very small bet on Luke Fernandez to win by decision this week. So my guy is saying under 2.5 rounds in the Durden and Tobias fights, and under 1.5 in the Brundage fight. I'm one of the legs of the Greasy 4-legger is going to be the Brundage under, so I like that quite a bit. And then the Durden fight, I don't mind it but I do think that Tumen Dembrel has most of the finish upside. So I feel like I'd rather play Tumen Dembrel inside the distance at like plus 150, plus 160, rather than go with the fight doesn't go to decision, or the under 2.5. And I don't mind it for the Tobias fight either. Like, this guy Nurgajai has shown a really bad ground game, and he's got power in his strikes too. So I think either guy could potentially find a finish there. Frank Turnip saying Bellato by decision. That's a big number if you want to play that, Frank. And Rob D'Angelo is in the room saying, yo, we got Christian Navarez in the room saying, what's up? We got Frank saying, if you can survive 3 with Navajo, I can't see you getting finished by Luke. Yeah, he's a durable guy, man. Rodolfo Bellato is got a really good chin on him. Colby saying, oi, what's up, Colby? We got what's good, Wheezy, says my guy Michael Panza. Rob D'Angelo saying, what happened in the Lee fight? Lee botched the weight cut. He's a huge featherweight. He took the fight on short notice, and he didn't have any chance of making weight, evidently. So, fight got called off on weigh-in day because Lee was going to come nowhere close to making weight. Font's my dog this week, says my guy Blue Eye Samurai. I think he can get a finish, man. I think he can. I think either guy can get a finish. We got Rob saying, oh, shoot. We got Overlord Zero saying, Wheezy, why do 4 legs and not 3? Seems like it doesn't hit very often. Yeah, I know. This is something that it's like a throwback to my earliest days on YouTube. One of my guys in the chat would always say, give me a Greasy 4-leg parlay to go out on. So this is just for fun, dude. You know, I always do a 2-leg, a 3-leg parlay on probability every week. That's got a much better chance of hitting. You know, 4-leg parlays are very, very difficult to hit. But when they hit pretty big. So that's why we do it. It's not meant to be like a big time plus EV betting strategy over the long term. It's meant to be a fun thing that we put a little bit of couch cushion money on and hope that we hit a big bet every week. Line movement on MJ versus Dober, anything to it? Yeah, this has been a lot of money coming in here on the Drew Dober side, and we can see it here on fightodds.io right now. Dober is minus 130, but you could see here he was plus 120 earlier in the week, you know, and then it was mostly around a pick'em, and now they've taken that line from a pick'em down to about minus 130. So a decent amount of money coming in on here on Dober. It's hard to know if anybody knows anything, though, so I'm not sure. My guy Dixon saying, I'm calling it now. Dante, managed by Jason House, is going to carry Brundage to decision so they can cash a steakhouse bet. Same manager as Delgarian and Alex Hernandez, who got pulled last time. It could certainly happen, man. And there's a bunch of money actually coming in on the over for the Brundage fight. Let me see where that is. So let's look here. Come on. There it is. So under 1.5 rounds is minus 140. But it opened at minus 270, and it spent most of the week sitting around minus 180, minus 170. So, yeah, like this would be something where if this fight goes over, this is something that the FBI should look into, you know, because betting an over in a Dante Johnson Brundage fight at this particular price is just a bad bet. You know, it's like you have never seen either guy fight. What you're basically saying is, I feel like I know one of these guys isn't going to try. You know, it would have been like if you'd had no information on Del Valle versus Delgarian. All you had done is watch tape. And then you had watched tape and come to the conclusion that Yadier Del Valle was going to win that fight in round number 1. You know, it's time to check yourself into the mental institution. Of course, that's a horrible bet. That's why it was so easy to see that fight was going to be fixed. There's nobody with a triple-digit IQ would have been betting Yadier Del Valle to win in round 1 if they didn't have any kind of inside information suggesting that Delgarian was going to throw that fight. And if you think I'm lying, go watch Jordan Levitt put on a wrestling clinic against Yadier Del Valle, and then know that Isaac Delgarian would win 100 out of 100 wrestling matches versus Jordan Levitt. So this kind of stuff, I see the line movement. It's definitely suspicious, but there's still no good reason to bet the over, except for, well, I heard it might be fixed. So that's something I think we should keep an eye on. I think the FBI should keep an eye on, because if there continues to be money coming in on the over, and then neither one of these guys winds up even trying to finish this fight, it could be one to call the FBI about. Some line movement on the over 1.5. I noticed in that fight. Remember, I told you when Dante looks like he forgot how to fight tonight. Yep, that's for sure, man. Thank you, Wheezy. About to sign up after we're done here. Appreciate you, Milkman. Thank you so much, man. We got officials saying, hey, did you all see Patchy Mix get his head kicked off last night? He had never been dropped before. Dude got dropped 4 times, and he got his head punted off. Yeah, man, MMA is a cruel sport. And when it becomes clear that you're past it, it becomes very clear very fast. And it looks like Patchy Mix is past it. Wheezy is on fire this week. I love it, says my guy J-Mo. Good to see you hanging out in here, J-Mo. Let me know if you got any questions. Martin saying that he's got the max money line and under 1.5 on Brundage Johnson at plus 110. You got a plus 110? When did it get there, my man? That's a great so the max money line under 1.5 rounds. I think those are solid spots. We got my guy Jeff is in the room. What's up, Jeff? Good to see you hanging out here. Yeah, Patchy Mix didn't get the job done, evidently. And Catalan saying Romanian, exactly. Yeah, man, when you see those names that end in the ANU, or the NU. That's definitely a Romanian name. Being of Greek descent, you guys are just north of us there. So good to see you hanging out in here, my man. We got Omar Bradbury is in the room saying he likes Luke Fernandez as a parlay piece, Rafael Tobias as a parlay piece, Alberto Montez, and Dante Johnson. Now, here's what I would say about that. What you have there are 3 debutantes and a guy with less than 20 minutes of pro MMA experience. So while on tape it looks like those guys are going to win the fight, they're all getting steps up in level of competition. So it's a little bit tricky, but I am picking all of those guys to win. So if I'm right about that that parlay is going to hit, but I wouldn't parlay that many debutantes before. We got my guy Michael is in the room saying stack them high. Good to see you in here, Michael. We're going to make some money tonight, man. We got Mike Check 1234 is in the room saying, Wheezy, love your content. Been a paid member for a little over a year. I'm surprised you don't bet more over-unders. Feel like I should be using your data models to snag mostly overs. Yeah, dude, I am. Here's the thing, man. I think the reason I don't bet as many totals is I tend to beat line movement on totals. I can read that value, but it seems like every time I beat line movement on a total, I lose the bet. And it's just so weird. Anytime I pick out a spot that's clearly underpriced, it feels like I'm falling into a trap. And I feel like it might have even happened this week with that Rosas font under at plus 190. When you look at that on my betting model, it just screams, please, for the love of God, bet this under plus 190. 50% of these guys combined 22 UFC fights have finished inside the distance. That's 50%. You're only paying 35% on the money line. 45% of fights finish inside the distance. Massive trifecta bet showing over 31% of combined value amongst the 3 metric comparisons that I have. Striker versus grappler matchup. While this thing is on the feet, Font's going to be kicking Rosas's ass. And Font has bad takedown defense. So you got to believe that Rosas is going to be able to put Font in some bad spots on the ground. So I do like this fight doesn't go quite a bit here. But, sometimes I'm just, I think it's mainly because of the bad luck that I've had on a lot of these bets. But what I'm trying to concentrate more on going forward is not worrying so much about what my stylistic read is on the fight. Just concentrate on making good bets and knowing that in the wash, when you make those good bets, it's going to come out plus EV. That's probably what I'm looking for, Mike Check. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that going forward on the probability stats and content package. What constitutes a good bet? How can we make more of them? How can we use these models to identify those good bets? And there's a lot of great predictive analytics that are in these models. So we got to learn how to harness it all in the best possible ways. Philip saying Patchy sucks. I hear you, man. The Solution saying, oi. We got Buttered Pancake saying didn't even realize Lee canceled. Only fight with no action. That's nice when that happens, man. I had no action on that fight either. Love the Oliveira over 2.5. Everyone's on the under for that fight. But, these guys are well matched. It's going to be a hell of a main event. Anyola Tor saying, I did a huge round robin sub parlay. I could see a lot of subs tonight. Good luck with that, my man. There could definitely be some subs tonight. There's going to be some grappling in these fights. We got Blue Eyed Samurai saying that he's on Michael Johnson and Dante Johnson tonight. Michael is saying they take this job and shove it parlay. However, now that is on this side of the fence twice last year, but Joe got joined the odds shopper. Yeah, we did hit that take this job and shove it parlay twice last year, and one of them was like a 70-1 or 60-1, I think. But yeah, man, going to be an interesting year, and we're looking to hit I want to hit 3 of them this year. I want to be really up on the year with these take this job and shove it parlays. The bookie man saying Dober wins by submission in round 3. Yeah, that's one of the. And by the way, you guys, if you in the description of this video, you can link up to my fight write-ups, which have in-depth fight write-ups on every single fight on the card here, you guys. And you can go also to the probability show notes down here and find my best bet on every single fight and find the bets that we identified on probability this week. And one of the ones that we did see that we liked quite a bit was, Dober's KO prop is like plus, 180. But his inside the distance prop is plus 170. And Michael Johnson has been submitted something like 7 times as a professional. So Dober sub at plus 1900 is one of the long shot bets that we gave out on probability this week. And I don't mind a quarter units shot on that because, both of these guys will grapple offensively at times. And Michael Johnson has always had terrible submission defense. So, Dober sub plus 1900, a good look. You saw the patchy finish. Joined up, long time coming. You the man, my man, the milkman joined up. Ring a ding ding, you guys. Like I say, if you want to support my work, you can hit the thumbs up, you can hit that subscribe, you can leave me a comment. But if you really want to support the work, because I don't get paid for any of that other shit, join up with the stats product and the content product. And I promise you, you're going to get a ton of value for it. You're not just like giving me money. You're going to get a lot in return for that money. So I appreciate you, Milkman. Anybody that's actually clicking that link and signing up is really supporting their Uncle Wheezy. Line movement is strange to me. I feel like MJ has advantages everywhere. Yeah, I bet Johnson by decision this week. That was something that I have got that at plus what was it? Dober, there it is, plus 290. But I'm sure that number is even going up from there because of how much money is coming in on the Dober side right now. Pause best says my guy Philip. We got I think Michael Johnson flatlines Dober. Wow, that would be wild. But Dober's chin is not what it used to be. And ring a ding ding, you guys. The Fromage Frog 99. Got to be a French individual with a name like that. Thanks for the free week of content. Bless you, Uncle Wheezy. Send your Uncle Wheezy money now, says the Fromage Frog. And I absolutely agree with that. Thank you so much for the donation to the show. MJ's chin is a liability. He doesn't have a bad chin. He does not. Guys, that's a fucking fallacy. It's right here in the numbers, which you can obviously find on your probability stats and content package here, given out by your Uncle Wheezy on oddshopper.com every week. If you go to the player profile page here, you're going to see that Michael Johnson, at 39 years old, has 43 professional fights and 19 professional losses. How many times has he been knocked out before? Only 3. In 19 losses, this guy has only been knocked out 3 times. And then go and look at the list of names that this guy has been in the cage against. He does not have a bad chin. And if you look here at the stats profile as well, Michael Johnson has only been knocked down twice since the year 2013. Twice he's been knocked down. Twice. This guy's got a very, very good chin. The Ferreira knockout was absolutely nasty, but outside of that, you don't see Michael Johnson getting dropped or flatlined almost ever. We got official VOR saying, Dixon, I know Patchy called off from McDonald's fight at Risen, but I think he's coming back tomorrow. That is for sure. Dante seems grateful to be in the UFC. Would he really risk his career so early into it? What about Bulgarian? You don't think he was grateful to be in the UFC? That was only his 4th UFC fight, and he went out there and lost the fight on purpose. What about Mansour Abdul Malik when he fought Cody Brundage? That fight was very, very suspicious. If I was in the FBI and I thought that there were, and I was investigating irregular betting patterns and I saw money coming in on the over for that fight all week, I'd be very suspicious and I'd want to investigate it. So you never know, my man. You never know what these guys are going to do because they got people in their ear, sometimes giving them good advice and sometimes giving them bad advice. And trying to work a fight at this level is not easy to do. So you never, ever know. You really don't know. Dante Johnson's making $12K for showing up today. $12,000. But there's going to be probably $1 million or millions of dollars wagered on that fight. So the temptation is there to do this kind of stuff. Betting Levitt felt good. I'm sure it did, my man. bet the over in the Dante fight. The fix is in. It might be, man. Still positive the Luis Almeida fight was a steakhouse bet for the over. Oh yeah, absolutely it was. That was where we got the term steakhouse bet. It was literally, I even told people, guys, when DraftKings opens up a fight, doesn't go to decision at minus 10,000, the incentive for that fight to go over monetarily is absolutely staggering. And it happened. I'm on the over on it. And since it was plus 154, I think Cody can run for 1.5 rounds. Dante went over with Dumas. That's it for me. Taking G-Shot. Yeah, there you go. Patchy Nix is still elite. I don't think so. Plus 124 on the same book. Cash out at even money. There you go. I got Charles and RDR money line parlay. Do you think it hits? I've bet the Charles money line and the RDR money line this week. What's going on, chat? Says my guy Sam, who joined us at the end of Probability on Thursday. Good to see you hanging out in here. Let's cash all the tickets tonight, Sam. We got official VOR saying they have not recovered Patchy Mixhead from the nosebleeds after Akimoto punted it out of the ring. Poor guy. All right, you guys. You know what? I'm falling behind. Sup 710. Sup Wheezy says Habitat. We got 23 Danny T saying Wheezy stat package all the way. We're making money on prize picks tonight. Let's get it, Danny T. We got Beat Fanatic saying Luke Fernandez looks to be the most skilled out of those 3 debutantes. I like the over on Baralio versus RDR. My model likes the unders, but I'm picking that fight to go to decision. So I think stylistically, I like the overs. Kind of like the point spread bet on RDR. Don't mind that. Font W. Already have a 2-leg parlay on Rosas and Dober fight over 1.5. I agree with both of those. I think that maybe we see a late finish in the Rosas fight. What would the return have been with 25 on all shove it parlays? I have no idea. I can't do that math in my head right now, my man. But we hit 2 and we missed about 40, right? So if you're putting a quarter unit on every one that you miss, you did 10 units that you lost, right? But then if you hit a 50 to 1, you'd win 12.5, and you hit a 33 to 1, you hit about 8. So yeah, you'd probably be up about 10 units. Like it would probably be like a return on investment of about 25% over the course of the year. And ring-a-ding-ding, Rob D'Angelo with the $2 donation, keeping the lights on here in his Uncle Weezy's office. Anybody else likes the Jesus sub? It's not bad, but like you should have gotten it earlier in the week when it was a little bit more profitable. Michael saying one take this job and shove it that hit was 62 and the other was 92, but you have to be a member of the Odds Shopper, guys. That is true. We got Samurai saying the members on this Discord almost also drop many long shot parlays that hit. So joining the Discord is definitely worth it. I had a crazy parlay on UFC Canada, 75 into 11,000. Yeah, man. We do well in the Discord there, you guys. So you're going to be part of a really good community if you join up. For $25 a month, there's extreme value here. Stop being nuts and invest in yourself and give Wheezy some damn money, says my guy Mike Check. Microphone check 1, 2. What is this? Your Uncle Wheezy's coming with the roughneck business of chatting, of talking fights, and of stacking cash tickets like flapjack. So let's get on that Odds Shopper, you guys. My guy Genova 7 in the battle of chins. It's tough to pick Johnson over Dober, literally and figuratively. Yeah, Dober's got one of the better chins in the MMA game, and really a statuesque, good-looking American dad-like chin. Carlos 11 is in the room saying, let's go, Wheezy. Milkman saying, I feel like Daniel Zellhuber, Wheezy, but where on the Odds Shopper app do you find the models? So it's in the stats product. So even if you just click on, if you go way down, there's a bunch of bets in there. But if you go, let me see here. My picks. All right, so here, you're going to see like all these parlays and all these bets that I placed this week. I put them all out for free on Odds Shopper. So you got to scroll all the way down through all of this stuff, right? And then here you find the probability live stream. Here you find the UFC 326 fight write-ups. Here you find Balls Deep breakdowns with Uncle Wheezy. And there is the probability stats package. So that's where all the models are. So when you click on that, you're going to get here. Oh, and you know what? This is the old one. So that's why you got to click the link in the description of this video, because I updated this one. But really the one that you want is this one over here. It's linked in the description of the video. And then the over-under models are for every fight. Like for Dober Johnson, you're going to find the OU tab right down there at the bottom. You see that? OU is the over-under betting model. BT is the betting template, what I call them. That's the prop betting model. So that's where you find all of the models. So, and we have that for every fight. So each AS tab is a fighter's complete MMA stats through the UFC and before the UFC as well. But we don't have stats before the UFC, just results. And then the SP is the stats package. This is everybody's UFC stats in the octagon compared to the divisional averages and conditionally formatted to show above average or below average for the division. The PP is the player profile, and this is going to have tail of the tape, pro and UFC experience, finish stats, records to the knockout, submission, and decision at the UFC and overall. Strength of schedule stats are here. Return on investment stats are here. The last 5 fights for each fighter, including the biggest favorite price they were and the biggest underdog price they were at the UFC level. So that's where everything is, my man. So where are we now? God damn it. All right, I got to get away from the chat right now and get to the Greasy 4-leg parlay, you guys, and then I will come back and continue to answer any of your questions here for this fight. So here we go. Leg 1 of your Greasy 4-leg parlay this week is going to be Uncle Wheezy's ass shaving of the week, Rafael Tobias, the money line at minus 162. There's been a bunch of money coming in on DR all week. And you could see here that he opened around plus 250. He was plus 235. He was plus 210, plus 205, plus 185, plus 165. Now, all of a sudden, he's plus 142. And I just don't get it. Like, I get trying to bounce back when he's plus 200 and maybe, you know, saying like, I think he's got a 33% chance to win this fight. But you know, suggesting that he's got over a 40% chance to win this fight now is getting a little bit crazy for me, because he doesn't do much. He doesn't offensively wrestle much. He doesn't throw a lot of volume at distance striking range. His takedown defense is bad, and his submission defense is even worse. So I feel like Tobias might even be the better striker at distance striking range, but he's going to be the better wrestler, and he's going to be the better submission grappler. He's younger. He's in better shape. He's stronger. He's more explosive. So I like the Rafael Tobias money line this week. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to win violently. And I think he's going to expose one of the worst ground games in the division right now with DR Nurgajai. So if we start with this parlay with the Rafael Tobias money line, we're going to start off at minus 162. Leg number 2 is going to be the Suma Derji money line. Jesus Aguilar has performed really well in the UFC so far, going 4-2, around a 50% ROI over 6 UFC fights. He continues to outperform market expectations, but stylistically, the way I see this fight playing out is I see Suma Derji pretty easily winning the minutes and moments at distance striking range, and I think Jesus Aguilar is really going to struggle to try to close the distance on the feet, to try to clinch up with Suma Derji and to take him down and hold him down. And if he's unable to do that, I think he's going to look a little bit mystified at distance striking range. So I do like the Tibetan Eagle here in Suma Derji to win this fight, potentially find a finish. But one of my favorite props of the week is Suma Derji to win by decision. But because I do think that there's a big difference in the striking here, I'm willing to pay up a little bit more to get his money line to just, you know, encapsulate the submission, the knockout, and the decision equity that he has in this fight. Because one thing that I haven't seen a lot of people do at the UFC level yet is really have any kind of success at all at distance striking range against Suma Derji, except for, I haven't seen anybody do it yet. So I'm going to go with the Sumaderji money line as the number 2 line here, and that brings this 2-leg parlay up to plus 137. Leg number 3, we've already talked about it. The Brundage Johnson under 1.5 rounds. Now that's moved from minus 140 to minus 150. Like I say, you guys, if this fight does go over, if neither guy shows any aggression, probably the FBI is going to be looking at this, because Cody's already had a couple. Like that Mansour Abdul Malik fight absolutely looked like a work to me. And if we get another one going over here, when the favorite is minus 800, the favorite finishes fights, the favorite has an average fight time of around 3 minutes, I think. Let's look. Be right over here, right? Yeah. Average fight time for Dante Johnson over 7 professional fights is 2.7 minutes. And the Cedricus Dumas fight went 6.4 minutes. So that one kind of is surprising that it did get into the second round, but it's still finished, under 7.5 minutes. So yeah, definitely like the under here, you guys. These guys are both fighters that, have very short average fight times as a professional. 7.4 minutes over 21 fights for Cody Brundage. 2.7 minutes over 7 professional fights for Dante Johnson. So yeah, I see these guys going in there. And plus, this fight is live on ABC. On CBS. So this is going to be the first fight, I believe, of the Paramount Plus CBS card. If Cody Brundage goes out there and fights like he did in the Mansour Abdul Malik fight, this is going to be his last fight in the UFC. He's going to get cut from the organization. So I like the under here quite a bit. I think stylistically it lines up nice. I think this price is a bit of a gift, but it could, like with any over-under bet, it can just sometimes be really frustrating really quickly when you see that the fighters are fighting more conservatively than you might have thought if you bet an under. If they're fighting more aggressively than you thought if you bet an over, but I like this one quite a bit. It has moved just a little bit since the show started, but even at minus 150, that's going to bring this 3-leg parlay up to plus 295. And the last leg that we're going with here is going to be the over 1.5 rounds for the Michael Johnson versus Drew Dober fight. I just think that a bunch of people are talking like Johnson has a bad chin, and I don't know where they're getting that information from. I don't know how you could fight at the level that Johnson has for literally dozens of fights at the UFC level and as a professional, only get knocked out 3 times and suggest that, you're somehow a liability on your chin. So I like the over 1.5 here quite a bit. It's at minus 225. We played it earlier in the week in the probability parlay at about minus 185. But even at this price, I still like it quite a bit. So over 1.5 rounds, minus 225 brings this 4-leg parlay, which was plus 487 on BetOnline Sportsbook before the line move in the Brundage over or under. Now it's coming out to plus 470. That's what we're looking to hit this week, you guys. Once again, real quick, Rafael Tobias money line, Sumaderji money line, under 1.5 rounds for Brundage versus Johnson, over 1.5 rounds for Michael Johnson versus Drew Dober, comes out to plus 470 on BetOnline Sportsbook. Let's cash this thing. All right, you guys, here we go. Right back to the Ask Wheezy portion of the show. Where did I leave off here? Let's see here. Yes, still positive that was a steakhouse bet. Let me see here. And my guy Sam is saying what's going on to the chat. Happy fight day. I'd like to thank Sam again for being on the show, on the probability show. And that's something we're going to be doing going forward is I want to invite somebody from the Discord every week to kind of just share their best bets, share their betting strategy with the people in the Discord. Like I say, we're a community. We try to help each other out as much as possible. And my role in that community is to be the one that you guys cheat off of, because like there's the nerd in school, who's like kind of like covering up his test and shit, because he wants to be better than everybody else, intellectually, and he wants to show off in that way. So he doesn't want anyone cheating off of him. And And then there's your Uncle Wheezy, who is smarter than that loser, who's going to kick his ass out on the playground, and who was going to let you cheat off of him. Why? Because I'm a good person. That's why. Because I like being the smart guy and lifting everybody else up around me. Let's all be smart together. Let's all have access to these stats together. But you got to pay me, right? Right? Like this week, I guess I am kind of like the schoolyard crack dealer. The first one's for free, and you're going to really enjoy it. But after that, it's going to cost you. And after this week, it is going to cost you, but I promise you, it's going to be worth it. So good to see Sam hanging out in here, my man. Yeah. Let's see. Danny saying the stats package. Luke Fernandez, the most skilled. I don't know where I left off here. I remember mentioning that Rob gave me $2. Appreciate you. Let's see. Yeah, extreme value. My guy Genova. I feel like Daniel Zellhuber, but where do you find the odds shop? Where do you find the models? There you go. Michael moves a lot better than Dober. Yep. But like Dober's, if he can crowd Johnson, he can maybe look like he's going to win this fight or land the heavier shots. Welcome to the Discord, Milkman. He must be in there. I haven't even seen it yet. Good to see you. Blue-Eyed Samurai, MJ's a lot faster and a lot longer, too. He's taller, he's longer, and this is a southpaw versus southpaw matchup, so if Johnson can pop that jab and score with the jab over and over again, that's going to help him because he's going to want to use those straight punches down the middle to utilize that reach advantage. My guy, the MMA Husky Hustler, all the way from Australia, saying, may all your bets hit today, Wheezy. Peace and love from down under Australia from me and my Husky. And he usually says, "Aroo," like my Bootsy used to do whenever an ambulance would drive by. So, yeah, and thanks, Samurai. Long time coming. Welcome to the Discord, Milkman. Welcome to the community. Good to see you hanging out. Late to the chat, says El Magnificono, saying, but I wanted to know what you thought on the over 1.5 takedowns at plus 115 for what fight, my man? Is Cody Durden the new Cody Brundage? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. They're both named Cody, though. If you parlay all three Codys, you could win $0. That's Beat Fanatic. Sam agrees. Beat Fanatic, you'd be in the negative, that's for sure, man. Beat Fanatic dead. 75 to 11K is wild. Hell yeah, man. Let's get some money tonight, says my guy Carlos. And he's saying that he's still got the screenshot. I'm sure that you posted that in the Discord too, my man. Debated framing a photo of the caster slip. That'd be a nice one, man. Cashing that slip, get it nice and framed, put it up on the wall. I love it, dude. Bet slip. My Blue-Eyed Samurai saying the Mongolian gonna smoke Durden. Yeah, I like the finish only prop for Niam Jargle, and I like the decision only prop for Cody Durden there. You're rare, Uncle Wheezy. Saturday Fight Day Live. Yes, sir. I don't usually do this on Saturdays, but we're here today. We're ready to go, and I'm answering any and all questions. 216 of you live right now, hanging out on Rumble, X, and YouTube. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. If you're not following me yet on Rumble, go to my Rumble channel and follow me there. And I don't know. I hope I put the on the Rumble live stream. I hope I put the links in the to the stat package and to the fight write-ups in there. But if I didn't, you can find it on the YouTube live stream. The walk-in aura is going to kill Durden on its own. Yeah, dude. Like Tumen Dembrel definitely has aura for sure, dude. Leg one says the solution. He likes it. Went hard on Aguilar, finish only for buttered pancake. Yeah, I think that's not a bad look because Suma Derji has not really been a finisher at this level. Thanks for everything you do, Uncle Wheezy. Appreciate you, Ben. We got Isaac Shannon in the room. What is up, Isaac? We got Caitlin saying Sue has 6 submission losses and Aguilar has a good submission game. 7 subs, Unc. Yes. That's why a lot of people are on that Aguilar sub prop this league. Oi, Unc, happy fight day and good luck to all. Good to see Blonde Dog hanging out in here. The solution saying, damn, that third leg just screams 1-800-GAMBLER. Nah, man, it doesn't, dude. An under in a Cody Brundage fight, like that's what you should be playing, especially when his opponent is trying. Anytime Cody's opponent goes out there and tries The fight ends in under 7.5 minutes every damn time. And I think Dante Johnson is going to go out there and try. This is televised on CBS. This is a great chance for him to get his name known as a UFC fighter. So I think we're going to see an under there. Isaac saying Brundage definitely loses. Bet your entire house literally on it. Okay. Dixon saying, wouldn't it be fitting for Brundage to end his UFC career with a fight that gets investigated by the FBI? A beat fanatic saying Brundage will show up as Dante swarms him. I can see an early rough stoppage. Me too, man. We got Thor in the room saying, Uncle Wheezy, thank you for your hard work. Appreciate you for hanging out in here. We got 21545 saying, do you see any value on the font money line? Yes, absolutely. At plus 240, I think there's a lot of value there. Huge step up in competition for Raul Rosas Jr. And if he does sell out for the takedowns in both rounds 1 or 2, and Font is able to successfully defend, get back up, really make Rosas work, I think we could see a 3rd round knockout in this fight. Triple Cody underdog money line parlay. Good luck with that, my man. That is going to have a big plus money number on it. Who is the parlay buster this week? On the money lines, it's definitely not Rafael Tobias or Suma Derji, because I've got them in the four-legger. I could see Max Holloway being a parlay buster. I could see Caio Bahaio being a parlay buster, and I could see Raul Rosas being a parlay buster this week. All of those numbers are minus 200 or less, minus 220 for Bahaio, minus 280 for Rosas. And there are clear paths to victory for all the underdogs in that fight. Font, keep the fight standing, stuff the takedowns, land the bigger shots on the feet. Rainier to Ritter, don't fight a pretty fight with Caio Bahaio. Don't let him win minutes. Just walk at him. He doesn't have real power for this division. You need to walk him down. You need to clinch up with him. You need to make him wrestle. And then with Charles Oliveira, the exact same thing. Max Holloway likes a clean fight at distance striking range. Charles Oliveira pressures, gets into the clinch, makes it dirty. And he can grapple successfully, whether he's on his back, whether he's scrambling, or whether he's in top position. So I think that any of the last 3 fights in the night, the potential favorites there are potential parlay busters. All Cody parlay is a lock. We got Weezy. You still feel good about RDR? Yeah, I still feel real good about him, at the number, right? I mean, I think Caio Bahaio is a better fighter than Rainier de Ritter. He's the cleaner striker. He's got excellent Brazilian jiu-jitsu, phenomenal fight IQ, solid conditioning, everything that you need in order to exploit the weaknesses of fighters in a division that aren't as well-rounded as the guys that at flyweight and bantamweight, for instance. But RDR, he has a fight style that people they don't understand it properly, because if they did, you wouldn't have been getting RDR at plus 190 against Robert Whittaker, because that was just, it's a similar fight. People were saying Whittaker's the much better striker. He's the much cleaner. Well, who cares if he's fucking cleaner? When have you seen RDR fight clean? When have you seen Charles Oliveira stand at distance striking range? There was something I actually did. I don't know if I did it in this one, but if you look at the stats here, I'll share the screen. There it is. So Holloway Oliveira, you can see here that Oliveira only spends 36% of his time at distance striking range, while it's 86.5% for Holloway. But I did a little calculation, and I don't remember whether I did it on this sheet or on the other one. There it is. See these numbers here? So these numbers here, right? This is how much, what percentage of every Charles Oliveira fight has spent in control time positions, right? 59, 56, 67, 75, 78, 70. Not since 8 fights ago has only 26% of the fight been spent in control time positions. And that was the Justin Gaethje fight that ended in round 1, right? every Charles Oliveira fight spends more than 50% at distance striking range unless it ends. In control time positions unless it ends very early. See numbers like 84%, 85%, 68, 69, 74, 78, 87, 84. So for people who are saying that Max Holloway is going to just go out there and easily outbox Charles Oliveira, well, he might while they're at distance striking range, but how's Max going to look in the clinch? How's Max going to look in the grappling exchanges of this fight? And so for Oliveira, that's another one that like people don't understand how he fights. And that's why I've been cashing tickets on Oliveira plus 170 against Beneil Dariush. How the fuck was he plus 170 against Dariush? I cashed on that. I got him at plus 100 against Mateus fucking Gamrot. Really? People thought that Gamrot was going to beat Oliveira? How did that work out? So people get RDR wrong. They get Oliveira wrong. These guys are consistently underpriced by the market, which is why they have such a high return on investments. When you back them, it's because the market in general doesn't understand how these guys fight. My guy Overlord Zero is saying Uncle Wheezy, smart and humble. You're right on both accounts. And as far as humble goes, I'm about probably the most humble guy on the planet. You're never going to find anyone more humble than me. Like if they were to give out humble awards, nobody would even fucking show up. It would be like, yeah, it's Uncle Weezy again. He won the award, and I wouldn't even show up to accept the award because I'm too humble. We got the High Owl saying, almost forgot. Oh, what is up, High Owl? William Beats saying schoolyard crack is the best. Yeah, I think that's where we all learn to love crack, right? Third grade, that shady character comes up to the fence and says, come here, I got something for you. We all had that moment, Mighty Pro 150 saying Suma Derji looks like a Fallout 3 alien on the scale. He's huge for the division. I don't know how he makes weight, man. Catalin saying, could Tobias be injured? The money coming in on DR. There might be something going on there. But, usually that fight day line movement, for me, isn't particularly sharp unless they actually know something. And I think it might just be people shorting Tobias because he's only 22 years old and making his debut. But I just don't think DR is very good at all. I don't think he's very good at all. And I don't think he's going to win a lot of fights at this level. Dover's near minus 130. I think the bookies are onto it. Yeah. What is up, Wheezy? Says my guy Jester. Good to see you hanging out in here. Author saying Rosas money line over 5.5 minutes. Font most significant strikes plus 200. I like that. That's a pretty good look to me. The main card is on CBS. I think there's only 2 fights that are on CBS. Only 2. And I think it's the Dante Johnson fight, maybe the Cody Garbrandt fight. So I think what they're doing is they're putting it on CBS to let people know, hey, sign up for Paramount Plus if you haven't already, and then you're going to get to watch the Oliveira versus Holloway main event. Greenbat is in the room saying, what's up, Wheezy? Why is it house every weekend? Well, we're in Chicago, so it's house every weekend, every day, house music all night long, says my guy Greenbat. Good to see you hanging out in here. And my guy Brady in the room saying, oi! If you're not sick of me yet, after 2.5 hours of balls deep breakdowns, after 2.5 hours of probability, after an hour-long Ask Wheezy and Greasy 4-leg parlay, you can catch me over on DFS by the Numbers YouTube channel, where we will be live for all the fights, breaking down these fights, giving you guys play-by-play, giving you guys our thoughts, reads on the fight, looking to stack cash tickets like flapjacks. So join my guy Brady and I over on the DFS by the Numbers YouTube channel for the watch along later on tonight. We got Jabba is in the room saying Cody is the best base for MMA. That is for sure. Don Juan in the room saying, shut up, biatch. Yeah, I'm going to do that. We got El Magnificono saying, wanted to know what you thought of on the over 1.5 takedowns at plus 115 for RDR in the Kaio versus RDR fight. So I remember Kaio getting taken down in his debut against Gaji Omar Gadzhiev, was it? But if we look at the stats here, so defensive grappling stats, he's only allowing 0.36 takedown attempts per 15 minutes, but people aren't trying to take Caio down. Only 1.33 takedown attempts against. So, and then I could also do something like this, which is a pretty cheeky thing, right? So let me share my screen with you. This is something that I'm going to be working into the probability show going forward. I have these calculators, right? So I go to the 185-pound division for a 3-round fight, and I could type in 1.5 takedowns, right? And then when we get that, it can tell me out of the amount of 3-round fights which we have, which is 662 3-round fights in my database for the 185-pound division, how many fighters go over 1.5 takedowns? And that's 194 out of 662 when the winning fighter does it, and 113 out of 662 when the losing fighter does it. So just the baseline for that kind of a bet, getting over 1.5 takedowns, that only happens 23.19% of the time at the UFC level in the 185-pound division for 3-round fights. Now, you're also looking at a guy in Caio who's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so a lot of people aren't going to try to take him down. But somebody like RDR, is not going to be afraid of Caio's ground game because RDR is, an elite grappler. So he won't be afraid to grapple with Caio, especially if he doesn't like how the distance striking exchanges are going. So it's probably not the best bet to ask anybody to get 2 takedowns in a middleweight fight. Like I say, like the winning fighter does it less than 30% of the time. The losing fighter does it about 17% of the time. So I think I would need a lot more plus money than that. Story time Saturday, says Jester. No, man, I don't have time to do that today, my man. What I'm really here for is to answer questions about these fights. But yeah, I'll come up with a story time for Stat Diggers or for Just a Tip in a week or two. Every Cody gets finished at plus 842. That's a pretty big number right there. Took Fernandez on points, Raul Rosas by sub or points, and no distance in the Max Oliveira fight. $20 pays $250. I like that because the Fernandez on points number is going to fatten that up quite a bit, and I played that myself. I think that could hit, says Beat Fanatic. UFC the GOAT saying, what's up, Wheezy? Good to see you hanging out in here, my man. Beat Fanatic's 2 bets today are the Max and Caio parlay, and then he's got a Fernandez, Dante, and Rosas font over 2.5 rounds. There we go. We got Teron Brown is in the room saying, "Oi, rainy, gloomy day here in Richmond Park," and it's not great here in Chicago either, my man. I got Tobias's money line, Cody Durden fight under 2.5 rounds, and Dante Johnson fight doesn't start round 3 at plus 264, and if it cashes, I'm putting all that on the main event under 4.5 rounds. I wish you luck, Catalan. I think that's a pretty good look for this week, man. I could see that Cody Durden fight going under 2.5 rounds. I could see that there being violence in the Dante Johnson fight, and the Tobias money line is something that I've got in my parlay. So I hope you hit it, man. And then violence in the main event is something that everybody's looking for. Rainy, gloomy. Oh, missed that. RoboCop and Oliveira fight doesn't go to decision. Minus 137. 2 of the most violent to do it. I agree. Not sure if you talked about Montez versus Tercios. Do you think Alberto can get that anaconda? I think he gator rolls the crap out of Ricky and gets the tap nap. Yeah, I bet on Montez by sub this week. Is it going to hit? I have no idea. But at plus 285, I know Montez is going to go for it, right? And the thing that I like about Montez is he will go for that choke over and over and over and over again. And just because he doesn't get the first or second one, it doesn't mean that he's not going to get the third or the fourth. The guy really knows how to get the angle on that choke. And as the fight goes on and his opponent starts to get a little bit more tired, that choke has a better chance of locking on. When usually you see submissions becoming a little bit more difficult the longer the fight goes on, somebody like Montez is getting submissions later in fights sometimes, not always the first attempt that he gets. Oliveira is deadly in the clinch, and that's why, he walks forward too. So that's why, I have to bet Oliveira's money line here. It's not like this is a pick'em fight and I'm betting on Oliveira. You know, I'm betting on him to turn this fight into his fight. And we saw by those numbers that I showed you that he spends a ton of time in control time positions in all of his fights. People saying Holloway will run through Oliveira easily. I don't agree. Olives as a dog against Gamrot was crazy work. I made some good money on him that night. I had a 3-unit bet on him, and I had him as the ass shaving of the week that week. So that was very easy money. Who's getting their ass shaved? I missed it. You know what? I'm not big on the ass shaving of the week this week because I'm picking a lot of, like big favorites to fight close. And I'm picking a lot of guys that I think people are expecting to finish to win by decision. So I had Rafael Tobias this week because the guy's been finishing his wins on the regional scene, and because DR Nurgajai looks like he doesn't belong here. So, but there's been a lot of money coming in on Nurgajai recently, so maybe somebody knows something. We got Teron Brown saying Oliveira is going to shut up a lot of people tonight, especially the ones who are underestimating him. He does that all the time, Teron. Like I say, people keep underestimating this dude, and they keep paying for it at the window. Wheezy actually beat out Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, but I was too humble to accept it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let Trump have it. He needs it. He needs the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, me, I don't need it. What use do I have for a Nobel Peace Prize? I'm here to cash bets. You know, peace prizes, that goes in the closet underneath some old clothes with the rest of the trophies. Beat Fanatic saying we got quite a few cartoony looking humans on this card. Rosas, Dober, Charlie Oliveira. I like it, man. And my guy Justin Cash, ring a ding ding with the $2 donation. Thoughts on the Dober Johnson big line movement? You know, I don't really know what to think of it. Let's see. Is he still minus 130 now? Dober is minus 155 now. That's a big move, you guys. That is a big fucking move. He was minus 130 when we started this show, remember? Now he's minus 155? Wow. So Justin, at this point, this is getting suspicious, because I would say anytime you're getting 10% moves on fight day in implied probability, that's a big move. And like we're looking at March 7th, 2:08 p.m. But just at March 6th, 8:30 p.m. So 12 hours ago, we were plus 100. So 50% implied probability going to 61% implied probability right now. Big move. Money coming in on Dober. It looks like my half unit bet on Michael Johnson to win by decision might be cooked. Yes, this line movement at this point is troubling, Justin. It's troubling. Dober minus 145 now. Yeah. CBS hates Cody's. J Jack saying, what's good, Wheezy? Sorry I just got here. What do you think about the over 1.5 rounds for Rodriguez versus Silva, or even fight? You mean Rodriguez versus Ferreira? So my model says that it's fairly priced, sitting around minus 103 for the over 1.5. If I'm betting an over in that fight, I'm going over 2.5 or fight goes, because I feel like both of these guys finish equity is in the first 7.5 minutes. So I wouldn't play the over 1.5. I'd rather play the fight goes to decision. And I think that that's not a bad play. And if I was going to play an under, I would bet the fight doesn't start round 2. So yeah, I don't like betting overs that only require this to go over 5 minutes or 7.5 minutes, because I think that's where the majority of both fighters' finish equity is. Teron saying, I love that good old Harold's Chicken in Chicago. Our city has the best food in the country. Do you agree, Wheezy? Yeah, I love Chicago food. Now, I mean, obviously there's great food everywhere in this massive country that we live in, but Chicago food for me, like the Chicago pizza, hot dogs and burgers are fucking amazing. And then you've got like so many ethnic groups here in the city that have just amazing food. Like going to Greek Town in the city, you get great Greek food. You've got the Ukrainian Village. You've got Pilsen. You've got so many neighborhoods that kind of encapsulate these local groups of people, and in Chicago is a gigantic melting pot. So yeah, love Chicago food. Kyle over 0.5 takedowns seems live. Yeah, he might get one. He's not a high volume wrestler by any stretch of the imagination. And I guess it depends on how the striking exchanges are going, because if he's having success with the striking, he's probably not going to give RDR the chance to grapple, but I could see him getting a takedown. Michael Johnson opened -180 on Bet Online. Is that right? He opened at -185, my friend. And like back in February 28th, February 27th, he was sitting -150, -160. So yeah, this has been a big ass line movement here on Michael Johnson recently. I don't know what's going on there. Did I bet Oliveira by decision +900 for me? I played it at +1200 and I threw a quarter unit on it. Covert, big bet in the room. What's up, dude? Saying, Weezy, have you thought about making a strength of stylistic schedule stat? It would be interesting to how well a fighter does versus the quality of wrestler, striker, generalist in their career. That's an interesting thought. And it's something I can certainly do in my databases if I get the right metric calculations. But the first thing that I'm doing here, Covert, and I know that you're a big numbers guy, is this PP tab in the spreadsheet where I have my strength of schedule stats listed here. And it basically has how many UFC fights a guy has, the average record of his UFC opponents, and the amount of winning percentage that they win. So you have that up here, and then you have the overall record, a number of fights and ratio for overall fights, wins and losses. And then I also rank these fighters according to a statistical formula: 25th out of 80 for Kyle Bahayo, 3 out of 80 for Rainier de Ritter, because he's fighting guys with 63% win percentages and 20 average fights. So I put the percentile that they are in the division, their ranking, and their tier. So just straight strength of schedule. But in order to do what you're talking about with the stylistic strength of schedule, I would have to have a label for each fighter, which is going to be tricky because you can't just like pigeonhole a lot of these guys. You have to say like well-rounded striker, grappler, BJJ guy, minute winner, moment winner, like that kind of stuff. It's definitely an interesting idea for some higher level modeling that could really have some great predictive value. I appreciate that question, Covert. That's a really good question, and it's something to think about. Fernandez and Rodriguez fights go to decision 15-1. Both of them winning by decision is 42-1. I mean, those are big numbers, Kyle, and I like both of them because I have Fernandez by decision, and I'm picking Gregory Rodriguez to win by decision as well. Yum Jargle is a lock, says my guy Future Sequences. Nathan Robinson saying Rob Font is -250 for under 0.5 takedowns. Why would he try one? I don't know why he would try one, Nathan. So I don't mind that at all. I'd be really surprised. But I remember when Lupi Godinez was a 1.5 takedown total versus Mackenzie Dern. And people were like, why would Lupi take down Mackenzie Dern? And she got 2 takedowns in that fight. So sometimes those takedown props can be a little bit of a trap, but I don't know why he would try one, dude. I don't know. And my guy Robert saying great card and great time. He's saying I'm loving these early start for the cards. And 8.99. Come on, let's go. No idea who takes the main. We got Blomdog saying, yes, I agree with all that. Let's go. Montez sub. There we are. Christian saying, let's go, Unc. Much love. Good to see you hanging out in here, Christian. Dober, big move, says your neighbor. Yeah, that is a very, very big move. And I have a half unit on Michael Johnson to win by decision. It looks like I'm already down a half unit, you guys, because that is some very suspicious line movement. I don't know if you can read the X chat, but I asked why Rob Font under 0.5 takedowns -250 isn't just an easy click. I think it is a fairly easy click, unless some of those guys know something that we don't, Nathan. Does the Dober fight move mean fight doesn't go to decision? It potentially could. Oh yeah, and that's great because I've got the over 1.5 rounds in that fight. Maybe somebody knows something, but I'm hoping that they don't. There was big line movement on Johnson's last fight versus Hernandez, and they pulled it. That's true. What other props are getting hit with the MJ movement? Like they're a trend expecting finish or a decision that correlates. I really don't know. Fight doesn't go. Minus 200. And it's just not it's not showing up. Yeah, fight doesn't go is still minus 200. That's where it opened. That's where it is now. Under 1.5 rounds. I mean, there's been money coming in on the overs there. So I don't know. I don't know, man. MJ money line looks tempting now if there's nothing going on. I love euros, says my guy Tehran Brown. Well, I'm Greek, so obviously euros is something that us Greeks really enjoy. NYC, best food, Wheezy, come on down whenever you want. My treat. I've got to try it, dude, because obviously New York is just a bigger version of Chicago. Giant melting pot. I would imagine just phenomenal ethnic foods in whatever neighborhoods that you go to where they're dominated by. You got everything in New York. So I'm sure the food is fucking amazing in New York. Wheezy says Brandon S2 cents. DK gives the prop bonus. I took the Dober KO. Yeah, man, you might as well give it a shot, right? I mean, like with this line movement, it's a little bit troubling. Can you believe somebody also called Kentucky the Midwest? I disagree. Kentucky is a southern state, if you ask me. Yeah, in the war, it was a northern state here in the Civil War, actually, Kentucky. But yeah, I mean, like some people call it the Midwest. When I think Midwest, I think, Illinois, Wisconsin, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, that kind of stuff. I got Michael Johnson, says Tehran. Michael Johnson, Drew should have been the co-main if you ask me. That's a great fight for sure. Thinking of taking RDR over 0.5 takedowns around minus 130. I don't mind that, Nathan. That's not bad, dude. We got Weezy. You need to do a Microsoft Excel tutorial video. You're so good at it. Yeah, man, maybe I should like build your own spreadsheets. Man, that would probably be interesting. I'd probably get more views on that than I would on my MMA videos. And Tehran likes Rob Font. We got what is 0.5 takedowns? Just a prop saying that like if you get 1 takedown or more, it's an over. The over cashes. If you get 0 takedowns, it's the under cashes. We got Zilia YT saying, "Oi." We got Tehran saying, "I wish the UFC brought back sponsorship sports. They were cool. Gave the fighters more personality. Like remember Chuck Liddell, iconic Iceman shorts. Remember Tito Ortiz, iconic fire shorts. Yeah, they're doing like some of those special shorts these days. For like Noche and for champions, like Holloway has the Hawaiian shorts and stuff. I agree. New York is similar to Chicago, just much bigger for sure. Kyle bets badly. Any guess who the fastest KO of the night tonight might be? I'm tempted to play Dante. Fastest KO. Could be Bruno Rodriguez, could be Bruno Ferreira or Gregory Rodriguez. I could see either of those guys getting an early finish. Could be Cody Brundage or Dante Johnson. It could be like Luke Fernandez or Tobias. I could see any of those. After weigh-ins, changes are necessary. Does Paramount rest for roids? These fighters test for roids. These fighters look ready, man. Yeah, a lot of these guys, look to be in the best shape of their careers. They don't even have Dante listed. It's only main card this week. Oh, that's interesting. So for main card, I could see it being Dober. I could see it being Fernand or Rodriguez or Ferreira, and potentially even Font or Max Holloway. I could see any of those. Yeah, man, 3 shows this week. I did all of my paid content. Normally is for free this week. So if you like what you saw this week, Fiala, join up on the link in the description of the video. 50% off your first month to the probability stats and content package. We got Los Angeles and Miami are similar in my opinion because of the warm weather, palm trees, beaches. Also, both cities have huge Latin American influences. Miami having a lot of Cubans and Puerto Ricans, and definitely LA having a lot of, Mexicans there. So yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, a lot of Mexicans and Salvadorians in Los Angeles, and Florida and California are both similar in my opinion. Yeah, different politically, but a lot of water, a lot of coastline, a lot of warm weather in both those states for sure. Listen, we got 274 of you hanging out live here for Ask Wheezy, the Greasy 4-leg parlay. Once again, the parlay is Rafael Tobias money line is leg number 1. The Sue Maderji money line is the second leg. Third leg, under 1.5 rounds for Brundage versus Johnson. And then leg 4, over 1.5 rounds in the Johnson versus Dober fight. Comes out to plus 487 on Bet Online Sportsbook. Too late to change that last leg for the Michael Johnson fight. I still think minus 225 is a good look for that bet. Maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe the reason that I don't know what's going on there, but we'll keep an eye on it. The FBI is keeping an eye on it. With this kind of line movement now, the UFC might even pull the fight. Who knows? But ton of money coming in on Dober. I'm not sure what's going on, but we will check it out. You guys, appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out live. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave me a comment down below. I hope you enjoyed all the free content this week. We did probability for free. We did balls deep breakdowns for free. Ask Wheezy for free. And if you like this content, if you want access to the betting models, to the stat sheets, to the content, balls deep breakdowns and probability, the fight write-ups, access to the Discord, access to all the track bets, click the link in the description of this video for 50% off your first month. I think there still might be a couple of spots available there. And you're going to get access to a phenomenal amount of information that you wouldn't be able to find anywhere else out there on YouTube or in the MMA space. So I appreciate each of you guys watching live. If you want to support the work, click the link in the description of the video. Good luck on all your bets tonight for UFC 326. And let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks and enjoy watching this card. And if you are looking for a watch along, go to DFS by the Numbers YouTube channel, and I will be there live with him for all of these fights, breaking down UFC 326. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Enjoy the fights, cash all the bets, and we'll see you next week for UFC Vegas, whatever. It's going to be Josh Emmett versus Vallejos. So have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we will see you next week. Take care and job less.